Excellence is a continuous, relentless, and never-ending commitment to improve. It's a gradual result of always trying to get better. John Baggs.
I am currently the president of Coach's Scholarship, but I'm one of 6 on the board that are just trying to make sure that the legacy of Coach Baggs is always here.
Knowing John Baggs, the coach.
A team, when we put it together for baseball, he always said that he wanted his best 9, not his 9 best. And it was really the idea that, it's putting the best parts together to make the best team, isn't necessarily 1 or 2 of the individual best players. So I always think about that, and when I put together teams that I want the best 9, not the 9 best.
He was a man of his word. He was a hard man to play for, but I live by the values that he put into place in CSS baseball to this day. And for that, I truly appreciate him in regards to getting me to where I am today.
And one thing that he taught us was loyalty. And today in the baseball office hangs a poem by Rudyard Kipling about the law of the jungle, and every Saints baseball player here today has recited that poem and knows what that means. And it talks about the strength of the pack being the wolf and the strength of the wolf being the pack. So on a day like today, when you can see so many people who come back here because of their loyalty to Coach Baggs, it's very nice to sit back and reflect and say the lessons that he gave us, one of them being loyalty, still is deep inside all of us today.
The friend.
I coach actors and he coaches athletes. We have a lot of common ground there, and he took that very seriously. We had great discussions about coaching of actors and coaching of athletes and what's the difference between a practice and rehearsal. And so I really considered him to be one of my best colleagues in terms of teaching acting. And you wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think that an athletic coach, a baseball coach, could teach me anything about how to coach actors, or that I could teach him anything about how to coach athletes. But we had a really good, open-minded and intellectual relationship in that manner, and we both helped each other be better because we helped each other.
When John and I were growing up, he was a huge Cubs fan. Many of you probably know that. And I, on the other hand, was a Chicago White Sox fan. And the White Sox fans and the Cubs fans don't really get along all that well. They rarely root for each other's teams. So when the White Sox won the World Series in 2005, I sent John an email asking him what he thought about that. And John had a 2-word response: Sox suck.
I think the biggest thing with John is he taught me a lot about the sport. We talked quite a bit about family, baseball, how to run a program. And I think if you look at where our program is right now, it's all because of John and kind of what he did to help me along with different things. We try to model our program exactly how John ran his. Great man, great family man, did a lot for the game of baseball, did a lot for the city of Duluth, has made that program a national powerhouse, and we miss you every day, bud.
The father.
Probably my favorite memory is probably time spent with my dad at the golf course. Him just teaching me how to play golf, like the basics, hitting the ball, teeing the ball up. I think we're at Moose Lake for a hockey tournament when I was younger, and we bought this mini hoop, and we pretty much played it all night. And yeah, it was really fun. My dad did beat me. He did. Yeah.
Looking back on what Coach taught me, I see it every day. I see it in my son walking around. I see it in the way that I interact with my wife. I see it in the way that, I want to put my priorities, how I approach my job, how I approach being a father, how I approach being a husband. I mean, all of that is because of him. When I needed advice, I went to him. When I found out my wife was pregnant with our first child, I called him first. When I asked him advice about getting married, I went to him. So in that sense, he was more of like a father figure than he was, coach or friend. He really served a big role in my life, more as a mentor and a father than he ever did as a coach.
He was a father, a friend, and a head coach of the Saint Scholastica baseball team. But most of all, John Baggs was an example to us all. His approach to coaching was not just about developing better players, but about developing better people. Number 33 lost his battle with cancer in 2009. In honor of a life lived in the service of others, the John Baggs Memorial Fund was created to benefit individuals and families impacted by cancer and to provide scholarships to St. Scholastica students who embody the spirit of Coach Baggs. Today we celebrate your participation in the John Baggs Memorial Golf Tournament and Benefit Dinner. Your support helps the fund further its mission in honor of a man who gave so much to so many.
The very first year that we gave back to the cancer world, we caught wind of a family in town where her son, 10, 11 years old, and he had cancer in his brain. Mom was diagnosed with breast cancer around the same time. Mom was ready to give up hope, didn't want to get the treatment that she had to get to save her life, because she said, if God is going to take my firstborn son, then I don't want to live. And their house was about a month away from being foreclosed on. They didn't have the cash to get down to the Mayo and back for the treatment for her son, and she was set to call it quits. We stepped in and wrote them a check for $5 grand, saved their house, gave them a month's worth of gas and meals, and really for a brief stint of their life, in Coach's name, we changed their world. We touched their life.
In the words of Coach John Baggs, he was a great champion, and so are you.